identified a teenage girl who was shot and killed just after midnight at a downtown Atlanta hotel. 16-year-old Kelicia Williams was staying with a boy at the Hyatt Regency. Police say the two got into an argument which ended with Williams being shot. She later died at the hospital. Police say a young man has been detained and charged in her murder. He was taken to the Metro Youth Detention Center.
A 16-year-old girl sets her phone against a hotel room wall and hits record. The music starts. She's smiling, dancing, completely carefree. It's 12:02 in the morning, and she has no idea these will be the last moments of her life. The door opens. Her head snaps up. The smile disappears. Her eyes go wide. Her mouth drops open. The dancing stops. She's staring at someone who just walked in without knocking. Someone who shouldn't be there. You can see it on her face. Pure terror. 5 seconds later, the video cuts off. 21 minutes after that, Kelicia Williams is dead from a gunshot wound. The person who walked through that door, she knew him. And the person who made sure she'd be alone in that room, the person who set the whole thing up, her best friend. This was planned for weeks, every detail, every lie. Every promise of safety was designed to get Kelicia alone and vulnerable. Before we go any further, drop your state or country in the comments right now. Let's see how far Kelicia's story can reach. And if you already believe the justice system failed this girl, hit that like button, because what you're about to hear will make your blood boil. This is the story of Kelicia "Pinky" Williams, and how every single person who should have protected her failed. Welcome to our channel. Before we start, do me a quick favor. Like this video, hit subscribe and the notification bell. These stories need to reach as many people as possible, and your subscription helps make that happen. Kelicia Williams was 16 years old when she died. But before we talk about how she was killed, you need to know who she was. Because this wasn't some troubled teenager running the streets. This wasn't a girl involved in gangs or drugs or drama. This was the kid every parent dreams of having. Kelicia lived in Atlanta, Georgia, with her mother, April Smith, and her stepfather, Ronnie Savoy. Everyone called her Pinky because she was obsessed with the color pink. It wasn't just her favorite color, it was her whole identity. Pink clothes, pink accessories, pink everything. But here's what made Pinky different from most teenagers. She was a homebody. And I mean a serious homebody. While other teens were begging their parents to let them go out, especially during COVID lockdowns when everyone felt trapped inside, Pinky was perfectly happy at home. Her stepfather Ronnie remembers telling her all the time, "Pinky, you need to go outside. Get some fresh air." And she'd just smile and say, I'm good. As long as I got my Wi-Fi and my Netflix, I'm fine." That was Pinky. Give her internet and something to watch, and she was content. She went to Crawford W. Long Middle School and later South Atlanta High School. She made TikTok videos in her bedroom, dancing and having fun. She had friends. She had a normal teenage life. No boyfriend drama, no kids, no trouble with the law. Nothing. She was your daughter. She was everyone's daughter, the safe one, the one you didn't have to worry about. And her parents were protective. They asked questions. They required supervision when she went anywhere. They did everything right, remember that. Because what happened next proves that even when you do everything right as a parent, sometimes the people you trust will destroy you. December 26th, 2020, the day after Christmas. Pinky's friend called her. Her name was Infinity, but some people called her Finn. She had an invitation. There was going to be a party that night, and she wanted Pinky to come. Now most parents would just say yes or no and leave it at that. But not April and Ronnie. They asked questions. Where is this party? An Airbnb, Infinity said. Who's going to be there? Just girls from school. Will there be adult supervision? Yes, my mom is going to be there the whole time. She'll supervise everything. And here's the thing. This wasn't the first time Infinity had invited Pinky to a party like this. They'd done this before. Infinity's mom had supervised before. Everything had gone fine. Trust had been built over time. April didn't just take Infinity's word for it either. She spoke directly to Infinity's mother, mother to mother, adult to adult. And Infinity's mother promised her, girls only, Airbnb rental. She would be there supervising the entire time. Safety guaranteed. April and Ronnie felt comfortable. They trusted this woman. They trusted this situation. But here's the crazy part. Even with permission, Pinky didn't really want to go. Remember, she was a homebody. She was perfectly fine staying in her room with her phone and her shows. Ronnie actually had to convince her. Come on, Pinky. Go have fun with your friends. You can't stay inside forever. Finally, she agreed. At 9 o'clock that night, Pinky left the house. She thought she was going to a supervised party at an Airbnb with her girlfriends. Her parents thought the same thing. Around midnight, April and Ronnie went to bed. They weren't worried. Their daughter was safe. An adult was watching her. Everything was fine. Except it wasn't, because every single thing Infinity's mother told them was a lie. There was no Airbnb. The party was at the Hyatt Regency Hotel on 265 Peachtree Street Northeast in downtown Atlanta. Infinity's mother had booked the room. She paid for it. Her name was on the reservation. And then she left. She didn't supervise anything. She wasn't there at all. She dropped off a group of teenagers at a hotel room and disappeared. And it wasn't just girls at this party. There were 2 teenage boys there. One of them was 16 years old. His name was Kerry Brown. Some people called him KC. And Kerry Brown didn't show up by accident. This wasn't a party invitation, this was a setup. While April and Ronnie slept peacefully in their beds, believing their daughter was safe, Pinky was walking into a trap that had been planned for weeks. A trap designed by people she trusted. A trap that would cost her everything. Now let me tell you something that's going to make you sick. Kerry Brown wanted Kelicia, sexually. He'd been interested in her for a while. But he had a problem. Kelicia would never agree to be alone with him. She wouldn't consent to anything. She wasn't interested. And she definitely wasn't the type of girl to sneak around with boys in hotel rooms. So Kerry needed help. He needed someone Kelicia trusted. Someone who could get her alone without raising any red flags. That someone was Infinity, her best friend. Weeks before December 26th, Kerry and Infinity started planning. They came up with a scheme to isolate Kelicia, make her vulnerable. Get her alone in a room where no one could protect her. The plan was simple, but effective. Infinity would invite Kelicia to a fake party. She'd make it sound fun and safe. Just girls hanging out. Her mom would book the hotel room in her own name so it looked legitimate. They'd tell Kelicia's parents it was an Airbnb with adult supervision. Every detail was thought out. Every question Kelicia's parents might ask had a prepared answer. And here's what makes this even more disturbing. Infinity's mother was involved. She booked that hotel room knowing what it was for. She lied directly to April Smith, mother to mother, promising supervision and safety. What kind of mother helps set up a teenage girl to be hurt? What kind of mother books a hotel room knowing her daughter's friend is being delivered to a predator? The trap was set perfectly. Room booked, lie told, trust given. And Kelicia had no idea she was being delivered like a package to someone who wanted to hurt her. December 26th, between 8 and 9 p.m., Kelicia arrives at the Hyatt Regency. She immediately calls her mother. Mom, I'm the first one here. The other girls haven't arrived yet. April tells her not to worry. Girls are always late. Give it some time. But here's something suspicious. Later, when police questioned Infinity, she claimed she was the first one to arrive, not Kelicia. Their stories don't match. That's the first red flag. Throughout the evening, there are videos of Kelicia and Infinity together, dancing, laughing, having fun. Everything looks normal. Just 2 best friends hanging out at a party. Kelicia has no idea what's coming. At 11:47 p.m., Kelicia and Infinity are confirmed to be in the hotel room together. Everything still seems fine. Then, around midnight, Infinity's phone rings. I need to go downstairs for a minute, she tells Kelicia. I'll be right back. And she leaves. Think about that for a second. Kelicia is now completely alone. No friends, no supervision, no protection. Just a 16-year-old girl sitting in a hotel room by herself. But she's not alone for long. While Kelicia sits there, probably scrolling through her phone or checking TikTok, someone is already on their way up to that room. Someone who knows exactly which room she's in. Someone who knows she'll be alone. Someone who's been planning this for weeks. Kerry Brown is coming, and Infinity made sure the door would be open for him. It's 12:02 in the morning. Kelicia is bored. She's waiting for Infinity to come back. She has no idea what's about to happen, so she decides to make a TikTok video to pass the time. She positions her phone against the wall. She's wearing a black top. Her hair is done. She looks good. She's smiling. She hits record. The music starts, and she begins to dance. For the first few seconds, she's confident, graceful, completely unaware that death is walking toward her door. She's lost in the music, lost in being a normal 16-year-old girl making content for her friends. Then at exactly 12:02:47, the door opens. Watch what happens to her face. Her head snaps up. Her body language completely shifts. The dancing stops instantly. Her eyes go wide. Her mouth drops open. That's pure fear. That's the face of someone who knows something is very, very wrong. She's looking at someone who just walked in without knocking. Someone who doesn't belong there. Someone who's looking at her in a way that makes her skin crawl. She moves toward her phone, trying to stop the recording. She knows this moment shouldn't be captured. At 12:02:52, the video cuts off. 5 seconds. 5 seconds of pure terror captured forever. 5 seconds showing the exact moment she realized she'd been betrayed. The exact moment she understood she was in danger. The exact moment she knew she was alone with someone who wanted to hurt her. But the video doesn't show what happened next. From this moment, Kelicia Williams has exactly 21 minutes left to live. Before we continue, I need to know what you're thinking right now. Should Infinity and her mother face criminal charges for what they did? Drop your answer in the comments. I'm reading every single one. And if this case is making you as angry as it made me, make sure you've hit that like button. Now let me tell you what happened in those 21 minutes. 12:03 a.m. Kerry Brown closes the door behind him. Kelicia backs away. She's demanding answers. What are you doing here? Where's Infinity? Why did you just walk in like that? Kerry tells her exactly why he's there. Exactly what he wants. And Kelicia says no. She refuses. She tells him to leave. She makes it absolutely clear that whatever he's thinking, it's not going to happen. But Kerry didn't come to that room to take no for an answer. And this is important. Kelicia Williams fought back. She was 110 pounds, a 16-year-old girl, against a male attacker who came prepared with a weapon. But she didn't give up. She didn't just let him do whatever he wanted. She scratched. She hit. She tried to get to the door. She tried to get away. She refused to be a silent victim. She fought with everything she had, but Kerry came prepared. He brought a gun. According to police reports and his own confession, Kerry sexually assaulted Kelicia. And when she continued resisting, continued fighting, refused to give up, he shot her. At approximately 12:11 a.m., he shot her in the groin. Not the chest, not the head, the groin. That's not a random shot. That's an intimate, punishing shot. It's designed to destroy her ability to resist while keeping her conscious to suffer. It wasn't quick. It wasn't merciful. It was cruel and deliberate. For the next 12 minutes, Kelicia lay on that hotel floor, bleeding. Think about how long 12 minutes is. Think about lying there, knowing you're dying, knowing you're alone, knowing the person who did this to you is standing right there. And what did Kerry do during those 12 minutes? He didn't call 911. He didn't try to help her. He didn't try to stop the bleeding. He showed no remorse for what he'd done. Instead, he started planning how to cover it up. While Kelicia fought for every breath, Kerry worried about getting caught. At 12:23 a.m., Kelicia Williams was pronounced dead. 21 minutes. 21 minutes from the moment that video cut off to the moment her heart stopped beating. 21 minutes from dancing and smiling to bleeding out on a hotel room floor. 21 minutes that ended the life of a 16-year-old girl who just wanted to go to a party with her friends. She died because she said no. She died because she fought back. She died because she refused to let someone violate her. She died because a predator decided her life was worth less than his desire. And she died because her best friend set her up. After Carrie shot Kelicia, something strange happened. Instead of calling 911 immediately, instead of trying to get help, Carrie Brown, another male minor, and Infinity, carried Kelicia's body from the hotel room down to the lobby. Think about that for a second. Why would you move someone who's been shot instead of calling for help right away? Moving a body destroys crime scene evidence. It contaminates everything. It makes it harder for police to figure out exactly what happened and when. According to police reports, that hotel room was covered in blood. There was blood everywhere, from where Kelicia had been shot and left to bleed for 12 minutes. But here's what doesn't make sense. A hotel guest named Kelicia Starkey was there that night. She took video of what happened in the lobby, and that video shows something impossible. There's no blood on Kelicia's body. There's no blood on the people carrying her. There's no blood trail from the room to the lobby. So where did all that blood go? Someone cleaned up that crime scene before they moved her. Someone tried to hide the evidence. Someone knew exactly what they were doing. Kelicia Starkey heard people shouting, "What hotel? What hotel?" She looked over and saw two young men carrying Kelicia. One was holding her legs. The other was holding her upper body. They were trying to get help, but it was already too late. And here's something beautiful in the middle of all this horror. Kelicia didn't know this girl. She'd never met her before. But she stayed with Kelicia. She held her hand while they waited for emergency responders to arrive. She didn't want Kelicia to be alone. She took video of the EMTs trying to resuscitate Pinky, trying desperately to bring her back. But there was nothing they could do. When police arrived at the hotel, most of the teenagers who'd been there that night had disappeared. Vanished. Gone. Only Carrie Brown stayed. Where was Infinity? Where was her mother, who promised to supervise? Where were the adults who were supposed to keep Kelicia safe? They disappeared the moment Kelicia needed them most. They didn't call Kelicia's parents. They didn't stay to answer police questions. They didn't take responsibility for what happened in a room they paid for. They just left. And while they were hiding, Kelicia's parents were asleep at home, completely unaware that their daughter was dead. April and Ronnie went to bed around midnight. They had no idea that at that exact moment, their daughter was dying on a hotel room floor. Throughout the night and into the morning, they tried calling Infinity. No answer. They tried calling Infinity's mother. No answer. Nothing. Complete silence. The adults who promised to supervise their daughter went completely silent the moment something went wrong. Then, at 8:45 a.m. on December 27th, 8 hours after Kelicia died, April Smith's phone rang. "This is the morgue." April was confused. "The morgue? What morgue?" "Yes, ma'am, we're waiting on your daughter's body to come through." 8 hours. Kelicia had been dead for 8 hours before her parents found out. 8 hours before anyone told them their daughter wasn't coming home. 8 hours of sleeping peacefully. Then waking up and planning their day, thinking about what they'd make for breakfast, wondering when Kelicia would be home. And then, the phone rings. In one sentence, your entire world ends. That's how April Smith found out her daughter was dead. Not from the adults who promised to protect her. Not from her daughter's best friend. From a stranger at the morgue. When police started investigating, they questioned everyone who'd been at that hotel. They questioned Infinity. And immediately, her story didn't make sense. She told 4 completely different versions of what happened. Story 1. She was downstairs when she heard Kelicia screaming for help for several minutes. She heard her friend screaming and did nothing. Story 2. She was in the lobby and didn't hear anything until someone told her there was trouble. Story 3. She left the hotel before anything happened and found out about it later. Story 4. She was too scared to remember exactly what happened. 4 different stories. Which one is true? Or are they all lies? When Infinity contacted Kelicia's mother, she told yet another version. She said Kelicia screamed for help for a few minutes until she was unconscious. Here's my question. If you were her friend and you heard her screaming for help, why didn't you call 911? Why didn't you run to the room? Why didn't you do anything to save her? The lies kept piling up. Police knew something wasn't right. Then they interrogated Kerry Brown, and he confessed to everything. This wasn't random. This wasn't an argument that went wrong. This wasn't an accident. Kerry came to that hotel room specifically to sexually assault Kelicia Williams. He knew she would be alone because Infinity told him she would be. The setup was planned weeks in advance, premeditated, thought out, deliberate. Here's what Kerry admitted to police. He entered the room without permission. He told Kelicia why he was there and what he wanted. She said no and fought back. He attempted to rape her. When she kept resisting, kept fighting, refused to give up, he pulled out a gun and shot her. He showed no remorse, no guilt, no regret. He killed a 16-year-old girl because she wouldn't let him rape her. And he didn't care. Based on his confession and the evidence, Kerry Brown was charged with felony murder, aggravated assault, sexual assault, reckless conduct, and possession of a firearm by a minor. On paper, these are serious charges, violent crimes, the kind of charges that should put someone away for decades. The evidence was overwhelming. The confession was complete. The case was solid. But this is where the justice system failed Kelicia one final time. Despite confessing to planning and executing the sexual assault and murder of a 16-year-old girl, despite showing no remorse, despite destroying a family and ending a life, Kerry Brown would barely face any consequences. And the people who helped him, the people who set Kelicia up, they wouldn't face any consequences either. Kerry Brown's sentence was 1 year in juvenile detention. 1 year, 1 year for rape, 1 year for murder, 1 year for destroying a family and ending a 16-year-old girl's life. He was released in 2022. Kerry Brown is walking free right now. He's out there. He has access to other teenage girls. He can go to parties, make friends, live his life, while Kelicia Williams is in a grave. But it gets worse. Infinity faced no charges for setting up her best friend to be sexually assaulted and murdered. Infinity's mother faced no charges for booking the hotel room, lying to Kelicia's parents about supervision, and providing the location where a 16-year-old was killed. The other males who moved Kelicia's body and destroyed crime scene evidence faced no charges for tampering. The only person who paid a price for Kelicia Williams' death was Kelicia Williams herself. The juvenile justice system treated the rape and murder of a teenage girl like a schoolyard fight, like something kids do, like a mistake that can be fixed with a little time and counseling. 1 year. That's the message the state of Georgia sent to every other predator out there. Teenage girls' lives don't matter. You can plan to rape them, murder them when they fight back, and you'll get 1 year. 1 year is what Kelicia's life was worth to the justice system, but her family refused to accept it. April Smith and Ronnie Savoy created a petition called Justice for Kelicia. They demanded that Kerry Brown be retried as an adult. They demanded real consequences for what he did. The petition gathered over 1,400 signatures, but it still needs more support. They organized protests outside the Hyatt Regency where their daughter died. They held signs. They chanted her name. They demanded answers. In January 2021, about a month after Kelicia's death, family and friends gathered at the Hyatt Regency. For hours, 24 people shouted her name from the place where she was last seen alive. April Smith spoke to every news station, every reporter, every person who would listen. She told Fox 5, "It was just a lot of foul play, and I'm trying to put all the pieces together because I don't feel like the system is doing enough to help me." She emphasized that Infinity's mother should be held accountable. She was responsible for getting the hotel room for these minors. Her name was on the hotel room for these minors, so I feel like she should be held accountable for my daughter's death as well. April demanded answers about the timeline. What happened after she made that last TikTok video at 12:02 a.m. and she was dead at 12:23 a.m.? I need answers. The family was also disturbed by the evidence discrepancies, especially about the blood. Ronnie Savoy said, The young girl said they moved my daughter's body because of the blood. But when we look at the video from the woman from South Carolina, there was no blood. So we want to know the reason why you took her from the floor to the lobby. They refused to let Kelicia's story be forgotten. They fought a system that failed their daughter while she was alive, and failed her again after her death. Ronnie Savoy said something that breaks my heart every time I hear it. You see it, and you never think it would hit home. Not Pinky, not Pinky. That's what every parent thinks. You hear about these cases, you see them on the news, but you never think it'll be your child. Until it is. Then you're left fighting a system that doesn't care, a system that values the future of a rapist and murderer more than the life of your daughter. If you believe Kelicia deserves justice, here's what you can do right now. First, subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss when we expose cases where the system fails victims. Second, share this video everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. The more people who know Kelicia's story, the more pressure there is for real justice. And finally, drop a comment telling me what you think should happen to Infinity and her mother. Should they face charges? I want to hear from every single one of you. Kelicia's story needed to be told, and you helped tell it by being here.